are back with Messy on
Messy
Purpose.
on purpose.
And now we're going to talk about hard times and how there's a bright side to every dark little tunnel
Yeah.
that we go through.
The silver lining to the cloud,
Yes.
even when it doesn't seem like it in the moment. So, we were just kind of discussing, as anybody who has been alive for a significant amount of time, we've all gone through hardships in life, and it's not always easy to judge the book by its cover, and you look at people and you think they have everything together and that they haven't gone through hard times. I've been very vocal about going through divorce and being a single mom, but something that I shared with Felicia is that when I was growing up, we went through a period of time where we were homeless. Um, it just, the way the universe worked out at that point in time, my parents were managers of an apartment building. My dad was the maintenance supervisor, my mom was the apartment manager, and we had an apartment with their salary. And right around the time my mom got diagnosed with autoimmune diseases, my dad was lifting a fridge and messed up his back. Neither one of them were able to work. We got evicted out of the apartment. They lost their jobs. We didn't have a huge bank account to fall back on. And we ended up living in our car. And I remember, going from where we weren't wealthy by any means, but we didn't worry about where our food was going to come from. We had a roof over our head, we had meals to eat, to we would go from, you know, go to a shelter to get a warm meal. We would sleep in in our car. My dad would get up and at night and like turn the engine on for a little while just to warm it up. We would sneak into gas stations like to use the bathroom. We didn't really have any way to get out of a bad situation because of what was going on. Like both your parents are sick, and it's easy to fall on hard times, and people can be really judgmental about the homeless community. And I can tell
Were
you,
you still going to school like when
no,
this was happening, or
no,
did you stop going to
no.
school?
I mean, how do you go to school when you're living in a vehicle?
Yeah,
So
that's why I was
I ended
wondering.
up getting my GED. I started working when I was 14 to help my family, me and my brother both. And I ended up getting my GED. I didn't finish high school. Um, but I see a lot of judgment towards homeless population, and I can speak from experience and say that it's not always like something had happened quickly and change your entire world. And that was a very hard time in mine and my family's life. It also made me the person that I am today, which is I will bust my big old behind and work myself into the ground, um, because I don't ever want to be in a position like that again. Um, I think that it taught me a lot of things I couldn't even begin to expound on in this short podcast that we have, but that being one of the hardest times in my life definitely molded me into the person that I become now.
How did you get out of that situation?
My dad was able to get disability. He was in the military, so he got VA benefits, and then he got Social Security. And we basically would go wherever we could to find work. We ended up moving around a lot and just trying to find, like, fit in or get in where you could fit in, where we could afford to live. And like I said, me and my brother both got jobs. We would help pay for the bills and stuff. So there was a period of time where we would be like in and out of hotel rooms, just like the weekly stays, until we were able to build up. Like it was a long process of getting back on your feet.
Did you have any resentment towards your
No,
parents due to that?
no, I don't have resentment towards my parents. I didn't have resentment towards them. It was hard to move around as much as we did, to not really feel like I got to have the roots. that other people got to have, and to have responsibility put on me at an early age. But you see the things that your parents are doing as well, and the way that they're trying to get out of it. You're, seeing your grown parents crying and see the burden that they have. Like, it's hard to have resentment towards them. It's more of like, we're working together to try to get out of this situation.
And were your parents pretty honest with what was going on and like explained it to you? Because the reason I asked is like things like that as a kid, like my parents weren't honest. They didn't tell us what was going on or anything like that. Not that I can relate to the homeless thing, but like you didn't know if things were bad. You didn't know what was going on ever. So
yeah, I mean, they had to be. When it was like, we have to move out and we're going to be, doing what we can, we would go to food banks and get, whatever groceries we could get. We slept in tents, we slept in the car. It was like, you have to be kind of open in that situation because there's not really hiding anything. But it was definitely a growth experience.
Sounds like it. And like there's a silver lining, right? Like like we just said, like there's always darkness, but there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and you had growth through that. Like you learned how to be responsible at a young age. You understood how to understand other people's situations, because you have to understand your parents in order not to have that resentment, right? Because if you don't understand, you're like, I don't understand why they're putting us in this situation. I don't understand anything. You're going to have that resentment because you don't understand what's going on. And like, you're like, why would you do this? But because your parents were so open with you, at least you had that full honesty and you were able to process what was going on and then navigate to be better.
I think it develops your compassion towards other people that are going through hard situations. It definitely taught me to appreciate the things that I have in my life as opposed to taking them for granted, because I did learn at a younger age that things can be taken away from you very quickly. And not because of the preconceived notions that go along with homeless. A lot of times is there was drugs or alcohol involved. My parents did not use drugs and alcohol. It was nothing to do with that. It was a financial, where like a lot of families, you don't have a nest egg. So you have two people that both lose their job at the same time. And that is also where you're living. What would a lot of people do? I mean, it was a really bad situation, but it's taught me, like I said, to appreciate the things that I have, to work hard for the things that I have, to not expect handouts from anybody. I try to work as hard as I can to take care of myself and my children, not expecting anybody else to do it for me.
Stay in control of your life. That's what it taught you. It did. And that's awesome. And I mean, now you're a business owner. You take care of, you take care of 4 kids now. Although you have 5. You took care of 5.
They're dwindling down. They're growing up on me.
5 at once is a lot of kids to take care of, especially as like a single mom. And I mean, you've had your ups and downs with single and married, and like there's a lot of navigating when you have a 2-income household to a 1 income.
Down to 1 income, yes.
And a lot of people, I think a lot of people can relate to that, especially like a lot of single parents out there that maybe never even been married, you know? And so I think there's a lot of growth in there, and there's a lot of ways to look at it, and I think you look at it a really good way.
Well, I mean, it teaches you to appreciate Hamburger Helper and your goulash meals, and like you learn how to make $1 stretch.
Should we do a whole episode on poverty meals?
Oh my gosh, yes. I can give you recipes.
Oh my god. Yeah. No, I don't want to relive that.
Look, goulash was hitting sometimes. I'm not gonna lie.
I hated goulash because my mom put bell peppers in it, and I hate bell peppers. So.
My mom put everything that was in the cabinet. It'd be like spaghetti, green beans, corn, like everything you can imagine in that goulash.
I'll pass. I still don't really eat pasta. That's like all we ate that, and then like the poverty foods. Like it was always pasta, and then
ramen noodles, spaghetti, quite often hot dogs, macaroni and cheese,
ramen
peanut
noodles.
butter. Yep. peanut butter sandwiches. Yeah, all those.
Do you remember like those like cheap like quarter packets of meat? Like the deli meat?
Oh yeah, where it was
for
just
the
like
sandwiches.
the small like, package of it. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
That was part of poverty. Yeah.
Make you a little ketchup and ham sandwich.
Oh, gross. I hate ham and ketchup.
The combination is winning. But yeah, that was a lot of people don't know that about me. The ones that I have shared that with, it's not an expectation that people have. I just like, I say that to say, you look at somebody, especially we just did the podcast on social media, and you're, you know, kind of projecting this image that you want people to have of you. And we're not really, you're not getting the full picture. You're not getting 100%. We're not talking about the hardship. Well, most of us are not talking about the hardships in our life. And we all do go through hard situations. So for you to share.
Yeah, so like,
kind of,
when I look at that, so I don't post anything negative.
Yeah.
I mean, I post my little videos of talking about stuff, but like I never post like
personal
financial troubles or you know, like when we did Turo, that was horrible. Like that was absolutely horrible. But I'm not gonna post about it. I'm not gonna tell you all these bad negative things or like moving is exhausting. It's a big deal, you know. Like when I lived in Denver, I really didn't have friends. Like we hung out with like Justin's buddies who had like wives and stuff, but like I wouldn't say I really had a friend, like someone to go hang out with or anything like that, you know, like, and those are like emotionally draining things, but I don't post about that. Or like if it came close with bills, I'm not going to post about that. Right. And then I have people who,
which about, I would say like 70% of us are going through currently.
Yeah. The way the economy is, like everyone's stretched thin. Like I make more money personally, just my wages, more than I've ever made. And
it goes,
it's
less.
No different. Yeah. It's almost even less than what it was a few years ago. And so like times are hard, but I'm not going to post about it. And then you have people like family or friends even, but like I'm from the Midwest and everyone wants you to go home, but I've literally never had anyone come visit me. We've had a couple of Justin's family come out, but like in Denver, not one family member, not one friend, you know, like no one has ever came to visit, not here. And the flights here are cheap, you know, and especially to come here, like going there actually costs more. And nobody's ever came to visit. Every time we go, we're spending, you know, minimum $3,000. And that's being cheap. That's staying with somebody, borrowing a car, you know, and we're still spending at least $3,000 to do that. And then to be treated like I need to drop everything when I'm there and do everything around them. And if I don't, I'm a horrible person. Or if I don't come out for the holidays, I'm a horrible person. It's just like constant negativity. And like, they don't even take into consideration like anything in my life. So they'll be like, well, we have stuff going on, so we can't meet at this time. And like, I get that. And that's fine. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And that's how I look at it. And then they treat me like, oh, well, this doesn't work for us and you need to make this work. And like, I can't. And like, I have stuff going on. Last time we went back, I just started a new job. We went back because family members are unhealthy and we wanted to go back and see everybody. And I think it was somebody's, it might have been his like grandpa's birthday. I can't remember the exact reason, but there was a couple of reasons, right? And we go back and I have family members telling me that I put Justin's family first and basically that I'm a horrible person and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, oh, I'm not supposed to have a life?
You
like,
can't make them all happy.
Right. And then I'm sitting there, I just started this job. So I'm trying to work, visit family at the same time. So like, I'm trying to work 40 hours in this trip and please everyone at the same time. And how is that like fair to me?
While
and
you're
then,
accommodating them.
And I think the reason that they think that is because they look at my social media and they're like, oh, she has a perfect life. She's got this, she's got that. No, I just don't post the bad stuff. How do you know? Like, I might have had $2,000 to my name at that time. And that was going to pay my rent
Yeah.
And then everything else goes on a credit card. You have no
Yeah.
idea what is going on. You have absolutely no idea.
Yeah.
And like, I go out of my way to do things for people that don't even really care.
Mm-hmm.
They just judge you.
Yeah.
And when you're sitting in a hard time and you're dealing with that, and then you're dealing with the negativity of other people because they see this whole other image, because they don't really know you, they don't ask about you, they don't say, hey, how's things going, or what's new with you, or what are you doing for work now, or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been asked any of those questions.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even if I go back, like, I don't get asked any of those questions. I get to hear about their lives. They openly tell me about their lives, but not once does anybody ever ask me, like, what I'm doing.
How are you doing?
Yeah, no, never. So, like, how do you even know what I'm doing or how I'm doing?
Because they just make judgments based off what they see strictly from social media.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And don't talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't tell you the last time I actually was on the phone with, like, oh, well, sorry, my sister Jamie, I talked to her, but, like, everyone else, like, I couldn't tell you the last time I was even on the phone talking to them. I couldn't tell you.
That's sad.
Yeah. And it's just, there's nothing else I can do.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm just kind of being the ultra bitch.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't care anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're going through hard times and you have people treating you like that, like, it hurts. It hurts.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, a little differently than most people, I'm not going to wallow in it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm going to cut you off.
But
I'm
it's
just gonna
nice to feel
stop.
like somebody else is checking on you too, not that you're the one that constantly has to reach out to other people and try to keep those relationships intact, but that there is a mutual,
Mhm.
I care about you, you care about me. Being, blood related isn't the only relationship that there is. And I think
No.
that a lot of times we create family from people that are in our lives that show care for us and show compassion towards us and actually do, give a crap what we're going through. How are you doing? Are you okay? Instead of just because we're family and, I like something on your social media every once in a while, that doesn't sustain a relationship.
No. And it's a two-way street in any relationship. And, whether it's the person you're with every day, or if it's your friend, or if it's your family member, whether there's distance and no distance, it requires two-way street. And I'm no longer going to be on a one-way highway.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I'll just not.
You want reciprocated energy.
Yeah. And I'm doing that with friends too. I know we're kind of like getting on a different topic here, but like with friends too, like if you're not willing to put an effort, and I think I told you this not too long ago, I'm not willing to do it either.
Yeah.
I'll just cut it off. It's fine. I haven't had, besides you, like I haven't had good friends that I'm close to that I spend a lot of time with in a long time. And really, like, a real close friend is hard to find. And honestly, like, when I was younger, it was drinking friends, and like, I don't even know how close we really were, like,
you're just
with
going
a
out
lot
to
of
have a good time.
Yeah. And like, it filled space, and like, it wasn't a lot of people that you just hung out with without like going to the bar. And and like I said, the whole time we were in Colorado for almost 4 years, and like, I didn't have one close person. Like, I had people I trained, and then
your hubby,
and then Justin, and like, that's it. Like, and honestly, if anything, it did a lot for our relationship, right? Because we got closer. Before, I would say it took even a couple of years, like, to like grow that even, get closer to wipe out some of the like non-communication that was going on, and really build that up. Like, when he proposed, which was towards the end of living in Colorado, that was the right time. If he would have did it any sooner, it wouldn't have been the right time. And like, a lot of that was developed in Colorado, but we really had each other. Like, we had some people we went camping with, and his little buddies, and like, he didn't even like really hang out with anyone, like, besides like when we go wheeling or like camping. But like, it was a lot of time built there, but not with anyone else. And like, I very strongly like try not to waste my time with people who are just fillers now. I'd rather be alone.
Yeah.
I'd rather be sitting with the piece than faking it next
You'd
to
rather
somebody.
have quality over quantity.
Yeah, and I've had a lot of people where like you make plans and they cancel, and then you make plans again and then they cancel, and then you make plans again and they cancel, and I'm sorry, I don't even let it get past, like that's it.
I'm bad for it, Fylisha.
Well,
listen, there are times that I, with the kids and stuff, not to make excuses, but it's hard as an adult. And I was going to say that when you were talking about it, is I think it gets harder to have quality relationships at this stage in life because we're in that mid part of our life where, when you're older and retired, like you have more time again too. When you're younger and you're going out and having all the fun, you have more time. And we get this stage where it's like, God, I'm trying to pay my bills. I'm trying to take care of the things I need to take care of. You don't have as much time, but it's being there for each other and trying to be consistent with not only your communication, but actually spending time with each other and letting each other know that you care about each other too. Not just like, oh, let's hang out whenever we can. And if we're not hanging out, we're not talking to each other. I'm not going to text you and see how you're doing. You're not texting me to see how I'm doing. We're just like, oh, we'll hang out,
Which I will say, like, in the beginning of friendships, that's kind of how it works, right? Like, even, like, when we first started, like, it was, let's do a girls' night, and then it was just,
we never
did.
We
did, though. We did.
We did, like, once or twice, but it'd be like, we need to do this more
Yeah.
often than we want it.
And, like, I'm pretty good at, like, planning stuff, but, like, if people don't follow through, like, I just let it go, and, like, it is what it is, right? Yeah. So, like, if you can't make something happen, I just move on. Like, I just have enough to do. Yeah. But, like, that built over time, right? Like, it wasn't even like we were that close before that, right? So, like, that led up to us getting to know each other and then building that relationship.
Yeah, and it's like your time is precious, so I don't want to just, like, give it out just to be like, oh, I went out and did blah, blah, blah. Because, like, that's time you can be spending with Justin. That's time I can be spending with my children. Like, I have important relationships in my life that I like to invest my free time into, and that's not something that I give to everybody.
Right.
So, like, for me and you, it built up the friendship where it was like, I want to give this person more of my time.
And honestly, a lot of it was like we were doing work stuff together because I was coming here and we were filming and we were doing reels for the salon, and then like that built into this. Yeah. And now we can't not see each other.
Lucky are we?
Except we have to see each other like once a week.
Yeah, like, it's really weird if we don't see each other. But that's something that built up, just like you were saying with you and Justin, that's relationships that evolve that way, I think, are more successful.
Yes. But there are some that just never evolve, and that's because they're not meant to evolve, and it's okay to just let it go. Yeah. And I'm getting so much better than I used to be. Like, it'd bug me a little bit. I'd just continue to try. Like, family especially, like, like, I would still call my sister and have a conversation, even though, like, she never called me or whatever it may be. But, like, now it's just, like, if I call you and it's all negative, I'm not going to call you. Or if, you haven't called me, but I've called you like 10 times and you've picked up maybe once, I'm not going to do it. Or if I put an effort to do something, like, here's what bugs me about the whole going back thing. And we might be going back again. But going back, not only am I taking time off work, or I'm bringing work with me, which is stressful in itself because now I'm worried about two things, right? Making everyone else happy and work. I'm spending money on a flight. I have to either stay with family or pay for a hotel. I have to either rent a car or borrow a family member's car, which
is fine.
Yeah, and so, like, you have that. That adds up expenses. I also have to pay for food the entire time I'm there, and we're usually eating out. And then I've now taken a week off that I have to take away from my dog. And I'm the bad person because I don't work around your schedule. Who's giving up everything for this trip? Literally all you're doing is taking an hour out of your time. And like there's been times I've gone back that like they clearly like didn't want me there. They didn't care that I was there. I mean, like if I wasn't there, it wouldn't have mattered either way. Like they just didn't care. Like they had more plans to go out and do the things that night or whatever it may be. And like it's just not, it's not fair. Like you're sitting here telling me like I'm a horrible person because I made time for Justin's family and my family, but it doesn't work for you. So I'm the bad person, but I have now sacrificed everything and you've sacrificed nothing. And like, it's not like I don't give notice. It's usually 30 plus days notice. Like, it's not like I'm like, oh, I'll be there next week, drop everything.
So at that point, you just like, now you make time for Justin's family.
And I see my dad. And if anybody shows up there, they show up there. That's where I'm at. Like, I'm sorry. I can't.
I don't think you have to apologize for that. I think it's really important to be able to set boundaries in your life. And if there are people that are draining your energy to be around them, or you're giving them way more energy than they're giving you, setting a boundary is a healthy thing. You don't have to apologize for it.
And it's just, I don't have time or the energy. But, I mean, between this podcast or social media and then working full time and doing other things on top of that, like Monster and God, stuff for Justin's broker, and like I literally pack my schedule, and then like to be treated like that, I'm just like, it's just not worth it anymore. It's just not. And it's not like I have a close relationship to like try to hold on to it, you know what I mean? Like, if anything, I know half of them hate me. You know, like it's serious though. Like, I know they do. Like, I know one for sure hates me, and it's fine. It's fine. You don't have to like me. Nobody has to like me. I don't care if you do.
So now, do you just change your mindset to when you're going home for your dad and Justin's family?
Yep.
And they are just, it doesn't matter if they want to make time or if they get mad at you for spending time with Justin's family, that I'm here for Justin's family and for my dad.
There's not even like communication anymore now. I haven't went back since deciding this, but last time decided it.
Yeah.
So like last time we went back, it was just like they kept trying to like, so we went back to help. So not only was everybody getting sick and like there was stuff like that with that, and all, I mean, most of that was on his side, but now my dad's having issues and like, so, but his grandma, her husband just passed away, right? Literally, he died. And we went there to help her because she's on her own in northern Wisconsin, the middle of freaking nowhere, like almost Canada. And, you know, we're going back to help her. There's this big old mess. They got scammed by these people in Florida for years. So there's a big mess, right? And we're going there to help her. That's ultimately why we went, right? Iowa and Wisconsin are not that close. They're a drive away, right? So we could have just went to Wisconsin, but we didn't. We made it work to where we took a week. We had time for both. And we honestly didn't even have enough time to completely help her. We ended up bringing her back with us to try to help get things done and give her a break from being there by herself and all that stuff. And so like, not only did I go there for a specific reason, then you try to make me feel like crap because I went there for that specific reason. You know? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And then, so basically they were like, we have to do Wednesday, which was Valentine's Day, by the way. And Justin wanted to go to Chicago, like on the way up to Wisconsin. So we were going to drive Wednesday. So I was like, no, Justin has plans to take me to dinner, and like we're gonna do a little Valentine's thing. I think that's pretty fair. Well, apparently I'm selfish because I chose to do that instead of seeing my family. So yeah, I'm just a crappy person because I chose to do one thing for me on a stressful week, and so yeah, that's basically how that ended. And I seen my dad and my sister Jamie, and that was it.
Those are the important people to see, though.
Yeah, the people that actually want to see me. Like the year before, I talked to my sister Jamie. Like, you know, like I see my dad too, but like we had like a little get together at my sister Stephanie's house, and nobody even wanted to talk to us. Like half of them were drunk. Like it was a mess, and Jamie was the only one that like actually talked to me, and like I felt like she wanted me there. You know what I mean? But like everyone else, it was just like, oh, you're here. Oh, cool, I guess.
It's hard with the family stuff because you feel innately a sense of obligation to keep the family ties intact, but just because you're born to the same parents or you're born into the same family does not mean you're people that are going to get along with each other. Like, I think that's a common thing, is that there are a lot of families that have splits, or these family members don't talk to these family members, or you are around each other, but you know this person hates this person and there's tension and stuff. I think that's pretty common in most families. And I just don't have the time or energy to give. I don't care if we're blood related. I'm pretty blessed, especially because going back to the beginning of this, some of the hardships that I went through with my immediate family, my parents, my brother and sister, I love them. That bond will never be broken. But I have cousins, aunts, uncles, whatever. I don't care if we have some of the same blood running in our family. I will never give my time and attention to you because you don't deserve it. Like, you don't deserve my time and energy. There are family members that I will never speak their name again because there was toxic things in our family. And just because we are blood related does not mean you are my family. And I will never speak to you again.
Some of them technically aren't even blood related. Technically, they're stepsisters. I've never used that before. But one of them decided to tell me that I was a crappy person because I didn't go back for my niece's graduation. So that was cool. I was supposed to spend $3,000 to go back for her graduation, you know, buy a gift and do all of that just for graduation. Like, I offered. The best part was I get this text, right? A couple months before it, I offered. I already told them I wouldn't be back for this because we were just back in March. I think, no, it had to have been February because it was Valentine's Day. But anyway, we were there for February. Why would I go back in May when it's so expensive to go back? And we went back for two totally different reasons, right? I'm not going back for just a graduation. We went back because somebody needed help. And so I texted my niece. I was like, we're not going to make it back for your graduation. I was like, if you want for your graduation gift, I will fly you out here for a vacation. You can come out and check out Vegas. You know, I can take you and show you things, take you go get food, whatever, you know. And she said no because she starts school in the fall. So that to me was, okay, I don't want to spend time with you.
You did your part.
Right? Like, you have a whole summer. You don't have one weekend that you could come out here. No, you just told me you didn't want to spend time with me, which is fine, which is absolutely okay. I don't take any of that to heart. You know, like, if you don't want to spend time with me, that's fine. I don't want to waste your time or my time.
You extended the olive branch, and it wasn't received.
And so
don't be guilted into, like, oh, you didn't come here for this. Like, you did what you could.
And so to get a nasty text like I did was pretty messed up. And at this point, like, I'm pretty sure I blocked her. Like, I'm just done. Like, no, it's not even worth it anymore.
You don't have to allow negativity into your life, no matter what the relation is. If somebody, like I said, if somebody is draining more energy from you and they're bringing more bad into your life than good, you can remove them without any apologies. It's your life. I've figured out at this point in my life that I have this one life to live. And we talked about it on another podcast. Like, I'm on this part. I'm not going up the hill. Like, we're coming like this way. I'm not wasting my time, love, energy, affection, resource, anything about myself on anybody anymore that I don't want to give it to. and I'm not going to apologize for it because it's taken me this long. I used to be the biggest people pleaser. I don't care how I was feeling. If I didn't like being around certain people, if I didn't feel comfortable, if it was family or if it was, you have to be nice to this person. I'm not doing that anymore.
No.
If it's not somebody that I want in my life, you can exit expeditiously out of my life.
Yep. And like that, you have to get selective, and we do only have one life to live. Why spend it with people you don't want to spend it with? Even if they're family, they're blood related, whatever it may be.
Friends that you've had that you've outgrown, whatever the case is, like going back to the topic of this, hardships in life, sometimes we have to get ourselves out of the hardships in our life that we're allowing to remain in our life.
Yeah, and that goes for people too. There's some people that are here for a temporary amount of time, and it's okay when that ends.
You have to release them and keep it moving.
And then there's people that you'll have until you die. And you need to know who those people are, and you need to also get rid of the relationships that are toxic to you, because those weigh on you and they affect everything you do.
Don't even get me started on toxic relationships. That'll be a whole nother podcast because we could talk about that for a long time.
Well, and it's like, it goes to like, whether you're married to somebody, dating somebody, those people are brought into your life usually for a reason, right? You're with them for a temporary time or you're with them forever. And some of them have a temporary place, and it's okay
to learn some lessons.
And like, it's okay to have somebody there for a temporary time, and it's okay to let them go. And yes, just because they're familiar or it's hard, if you have like all of these emotional or health issues due to the person that's you're surrounded with, let them go.
It takes a lot of strength to recognize that you have to remove certain people from your life, because comfort and familiarity are a lot easier, and it's easier to put up with the like, oh, we all know that cousin so-and-so is like that. Well, no, like I'm sorry, we may all know that cousin so-and-so is like that, but I don't have to have that cousin in my life anymore.
Nope.
So to have the strength to be able to stand up for yourself and be like, this person was in my life for this period of time and they don't serve a purpose in my life anymore except to bring negativity into my life, it takes strength to be able to remove those people from your life.
Yep. And if you do have somebody in your life and it's hard to figure that out and hard to navigate through that, I do think that therapy is a good thing. Again, it's not something that works for me, but it's something that's worked for you. Absolutely. And I think like if you need somebody to like talk to take the right action, find somebody to talk to.
Yeah, because it's not always as black and white as this person needs to be out of my life. Like, if there are emotions involved or there's history between you and the person, or they are, your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, and you feel guilt about removing them from your life, sometimes it takes a little while to, have that person not be a part of your life anymore. But I'm telling you, one of the best things I've done for myself in my adult life is remove some toxic people from my life.
Just gotta let go. And there's family members, friends, I'm not gonna say any specifics, but like it took me a long time to figure it out. It took me a long time, and like I put a lot of people before myself that didn't deserve to be put before myself. And there were times that like when you distance yourself from somebody, that it's hard to have the conversations, like the simple, like they send you a happy Thanksgiving, love you, and you're just like, oh my God, or a happy birthday, and you're just like, it's like when you haven't totally passed by it, it's this gut feeling punch. Yeah, it makes you sick inside.
Where you're like, oh,
and then you feel obligated because
to respond.
Yes, and like there are some that like took me years to get past that, and it took a lot of self-development.
Yeah,
and now when I get those messages, I can respond and I don't feel anything. And that took a lot of time.
That takes time.
And some people can't do it on their own, and that's okay too. You can talk to someone can help you through it, help you take that action. But please, the best thing you can do for yourself is let go. Let go of the people that don't serve you. Let go of the things that don't serve you. If it's a job, get rid of it, find another one. It's okay for change. I know change is difficult, it's scary. Maybe going at it alone sometimes is scary, but it's so worth it. So worth it. And hard times really do shape you. Like every single thing I ever look back on, there's things from childhood, there's things from when I was a young adult. Like I look at them and I'm like, that was a very traumatizing, like it was so traumatizing. Like to this day, it's traumatizing. But I can see what I've learned from it, how I grew from it, and how I've never put myself in that situation again. And I can also take responsibility for being put in that situation.
Here I have one of my cheesy quotes that she wanted on
Yes!
the last podcast. But I would always tell myself this is, a diamond is formed from coal being put under pressure. We are refined by the difficult things that we go through in life, not by the easy times, not by the good times. Like those are the icing on the cake of this life. But the difficult moments that we go through, the challenges, those are what make us as strong and refined as we are as people. That's what shapes who we are, not the easy times.
I like your little corny quote. Good job. I tried to get her on the spot. I tried to get her on the spot, but that didn't work. Apparently, I just had to talk.
It's stuff like that makes you feel good. Like a diamond, one of the most, valuable things that's created from a lump of coal that's placed under pressure. Like that is formed from adversity. So there you go.
Yeah, it's worth it. Every little thing you can find a bright side. Maybe not in the moment.
Might take a couple years to find the bright side.
It might take 5. But I can tell you right now, I can look back on every situation, whether it was a year ago, whether it was 20 years ago. Like I can look back and I can say, 1, I was responsible for what happened to me. And 2, there's a bright side in everything. And how I learned
something from this. Yeah. There you go. What do you guys think?
If anybody has a hard time, that you went through, you've learned something, you want to talk about and tell your story, please let us know. I would love to have you on, especially if you're in Vegas, and let's chat about it, because
share your stories.
We all go through it, and everyone learns from other people's experiences too,
and to know we're not alone in our adversity and trials that we go through.
Yeah, and we're here to, tell you all about ours. Get a little emotional sometimes. But it's raw, it's real. It's us. We're messy on purpose.
We're messy on purpose.